Welcome to the Snakebite, your home for all things Florida Southern College athletics, where we bring you inside access into the world of moccasin athletics. Here are your hosts, Andrew Pollen and George Connolly.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Snakebite. Alongside George Connolly, I'm John Kristovich filling in for Andrew Pauling for this week's episode. Now here's what the Mocs have been up to. In women's lacrosse news, the number 4 ranked Mocs improved to 4-0 overall and 3-0 in conference play after their 20-5 victory against Palm Beach Atlantic on Saturday. Haley DeLeo and Madison Tare each had 4 goals in the win. The team swept the Sunshine State Conference Player of the Week honors as DeLeo and goalie Brittany Yamale both picked up their second awards of the season. Yamale allowed just 5 goals in 60 minutes in the net for the Mocs over their pair of wins. The team is back in action on Friday against Rollins as they continue their 3-game homestand.
On the men's side, the team picked up their first win of the season on Saturday as they also defeated the Sailfish. The Mocs were led by a 4-goal effort from Cody Bielek in the 17-10 win. Our own Kenzie Council had a chance to speak with head coach Marty Ward to discuss his team's first 2 games of the season. Here's what he had to say.
So, Coach, your team picked up their first win of the season over the weekend against PBA. Could you talk about what that meant for the team?
Yeah, I think it meant a tremendous amount for our group. We needed to, get off on a good foot on the road in the conference and play a tough PBA team that's scrapping, looking for their first SSC win as a program. And we knew our backs were going to be against it a little bit, only playing 1 game and coming into it, fighting through some adversity this year. And really a prideful moment for our team, though, from how long it took for us to get back on the field to be able to travel down there and get a good win against a scrappy PBA team.
So your team motto is FTH. It's on the players' helmets and gear. Could you talk about what that stands for and how you use it for a group of over 60 student athletes together to work as a team?
Yeah, FTH stands for family, toughness, and heart. And it's been our rallying cry since 2011. When I took over as head coach, I took pieces of it from coaches and mentors from my grandfather, who told me a lot of times when I took over, when I was a coach, going to be a coach, your team has to become a family and you got to play tough and you got to play with heart every game. And I thought that was a really cool, 3-word block to put together and something that the team can rally around and something that the team can break down. And we've broken down pretty much every huddle since 2011 with FTH, and we added all day, every day at the end about 3 years ago. And it's just really a definition of our culture here, and we're really just continuing to grow it and cultivate it and continue to keep an FTH as a prideful slogan for us.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, Coach, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
The team is currently on the road against Florida Tech, and they will return home this Thursday to take on St. Leo.
The baseball team improved their record to 7-5 following their series win against Lynn University. In Game 1 of Friday's doubleheader, third baseman Zach Scott tied an FSC single-game record as he crushed 3 home runs against the Fighting Knights. Outfielders Vaughn Brown and Torch Sainert are currently tied for the conference lead with 8 home runs each. The team is back in action tomorrow night as they return to Henley Field to take on St. Leo.
In softball news, the Mocs improved to 6-5 overall after sweeping their series against Lynn. In the final game of the series, freshman Melanie Rogers picked up the win as she threw a complete game shutout. The team will take their 4-game win streak to Melbourne tomorrow as they're scheduled for a doubleheader against Florida Tech, with the first pitch coming at 3 p.m. Now, John, let's backtrack a little bit and talk about lacrosse. How dominant was the performance by the Mocs on Sunday?
George, in a word, they have been so dominant this season, especially here back on Saturday. 20 goals for the first time this season, and they've now allowed 5 or less goals in 3 of 4 games played so far. This season, they've been efficient on all sides of the ball. They're 4th in the nation, averaging just 11.5 turnovers per game, 9th in the nation with 16 draw controls per game. You tip your cap to Malia Benedetto and Madison Kennedy for that. 6th in scoring defense, allowing just over 5 goals a game. Again, Brittany Yamale and Patricia Worker have been fantastic in net. They've got a big game coming against the Rollins Tars this Friday. George, last time these 2 teams faced off, the Tars beat the Mocs in double overtime to knock them out of the conference tournament.
Absolutely good stuff, John. And on the men's side, let's talk about the team who picked up their first win over the weekend. We heard what Coach Ward had to say. So what's next for this team?
Well, they've got 3 games in 5 days this week, and for a men's lacrosse team, that's going to be pretty difficult. So they're going to have to take advantage of the depth they have on their team and use those recovery days when they can get them, go over some film, make sure they're resting. They've been led by Captain Jeff Atlas this year. He's got 8 points in 2 games so far, followed up by Sean Nolan, who has 6 points. They bounced back nicely with a win the other day following their loss against the #1 ranked Tampa Spartans.
Absolutely. So that's all for lacrosse. Let's look at baseball now. John, what should we expect from the Mocs this upcoming week?
Well, they've won their last 2 games, so they're on a nice hot streak after what's been an up-and-down season so far. Vaughn Brown leads the conference in home runs with 8 and with runs altogether with 20. Tor Sainer tied up there with 8 homers as well. Nate Bidet has been really strong on the hill this season for the Mocs. He's gone another 5 strong innings against Lynn, and he's been a strikeout machine. 4 games this week, so they're going to need to take advantage of that pitching depth and get some length from the starters.
Good stuff as always. John, thanks for those insights. Now let's check in on golf. In alumni news, 2020 grad Amanda Gartrell picked up the first win of her professional career as she shot an even par tournament over her 3 rounds at Stonegate Golf Course during a recent National Women's Golf Association tournament in Orlando, Florida. Gartrell earned the victory in a crowded field that also included 10-time LPGA Tour winner Paula Kramer. In current Mocs news, the women's team is competing in the Lynn University Invitational, while the men are in Pensacola competing in the Argonaut Invitational. Both events wrap up this afternoon, and final results from both of them will be posted on fscmocs.com.
In women's tennis news, the number 20th ranked Mocs fell to a number 3 ranked team. That was the Lynn University Fighting Knights on Saturday by a final score of 6-1. Sophomore Isabella Bolivar picked up the lone win for FSC. The woman took on Rollins earlier this afternoon, with a recap coming later tonight on fscmocs.com. The team is back in action on Saturday for the final home match of the season as they take on Barry University at 2 p.m.
The beach volleyball team picked up their first win of the season on Saturday as the Mocs split their doubleheader at the Ruth Venn Beach Volleyball courts. After falling to St. Leo in the first match by a final of 3-2, the team would go on to sweep the State College of Florida Manatees in their final home match of the spring. The women head to St. Leo this Saturday to compete in a doubleheader against the Lions. That is all from us this week on the Snakebite. Alongside John Kristovich, I'm George Connolly, and we'll see you next week at 5.